So you want to create a game from scratch? Well, you've come to the right place, because I created these steps for you guys that you can take to see the progress of how a game is made and the full pipeline of how it all works. People overcomplicate it, but it's actually fairly simple when you get down to it. So let's begin. Let's start with the first step. The first thing you need to do is create a rough plan of what you actually think the game should be. And this is the important part. Don't get too attached to your first idea. We'll get back to this later. For the second step, you need to prototype the core gameplay only. Don't go adding features that are not part of the core gameplay, because that's a trap. You first need to check if the core gameplay actually even works. Let me explain what a prototype should be. A prototype shouldn't be like this extremely polished game to the point where it's finished. A prototype should only be created with the sole purpose to see if the game works. So you're just using basic shapes and nothing else. You're not creating characters, you're not animating them, you're just testing out only the core gameplay if it's even fun to begin with. Don't use too much time. At max, only use 1 week to create the prototype. So in short, the prototype should be just a quick rough creation of the game to see if the gameplay is even fun. The third step is to actually playtest it by yourself. See if you can even enjoy the game at its current state. See if you can find any issues with the core gameplay itself. Are there any contradictory parts? Are some portions of it holding it back? Or is it just boring altogether? If it's the latter, then you should just go back to the first step and keep repeating it until you have a solid game and that you would find enjoyable and play it on your free time as well. That's how you know the prototype idea by itself is actually good. But there's one fatal flaw to this part. To some extent, you are emotionally attached to this prototype because you created it. So you will look at it through diamond-covered glasses. In short, what that means is that you are kind of biased to your game. You heard nothing. So to prevent this issue, let's go to the fourth step. Playtesting it with your friends. So now, when you're playtesting it with your friends, you're gonna judge it on 2 things. Number 1, what their actual feedback is and what they're telling you, whether the game is fun or whether not. But that's also kind of unreliable, because some friends are just not gonna say what they actually think because they don't want to hurt your feelings and they just want to help you push you through to the goal. But that's a double-edged sword. While that is also helpful to give you motivation, it's also bad because you don't know what you're actually missing in the whole game, like what's holding the game back and even if it's fun at all. So for these friends, you will judge by how they react and how they actually play the game. Are they excited when they're talking about it, or are they just kind of playing about it? Now the other friends, on the other hand, can actually point you out, but some of them are more vocal about their thoughts, and that doesn't always mean that they're correct. Because of that, they might be pointing you in the right direction, that there is an issue, but give you the completely wrong answer on how to fix it. So that's where you think about how to fix it yourself. So after you're done playtesting with your friends, you have to decide whether the game you created is actually fun or not. And based on that decision, if the game isn't fun, you will have to go all the way back to step 1. But if the game is fun, that's when we go to step 5. And step 5 is pretty much creating the core gameplay. You're throwing away the prototype that you created and you're starting to actually work on the game. Now here, you're creating the core gameplay only. And using the feedback that you got from your friends and by your own playtesting, this is where you start implementing the fixes to those issues. And cleaning up the game altogether, making sure that the game is polished as it can be, but the key issue is only polished for the core gameplay. Never mix that up, keep it in mind. Core gameplay comes first before anything else. And once you're done creating the actual core gameplay of the game, and now working on the prototype, that's when you go to the next step. Step 6. Playtesting with your friends again. Now that you have a more polished version of the game, you check if the tutorial is actually working as intended, if it's teaching the player how it works, if the game has any bugs in it, if players get stuck in anywhere. So in short, you're pretty much just stress testing the game, seeing what works and what doesn't, where the weak points of the core gameplay is. And once you've gotten the feedback, you fix it up, and then we go to step 7. Now step 7 is probably gonna be your favorite part. That's when you start adding more features. Now that the core gameplay is done, you can look at what the core gameplay is missing or what you want to add to it. Now you can go pretty much wild, but remember, every time you're adding a new feature, First test it out and stress test that one feature before you start committing to other features as well. Because if you start committing to other features as well, that's when scope creep comes in. That's when your game starts to actually fall apart because you're adding too many features that you just can't actually finish the game at this point. That's why it's always good to actually first finish the one feature you're working on, seeing if it even works in the first place, and then once you're happy, you can start going to the next feature. Just be careful not to add too many features. More features does not always actually mean that the game will be better. Sometimes it can actually even hurt the game if you're not careful. But if you're also enjoying the video, I'd recommend you to watch this video on how to actually finish your game projects. That's it for now. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and I will see you Gunters in the next video. Bye bye!